Well, hello everyone. It is Friday, March the 4th, 2022. I am Dell, Delbridge, Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is your status chat. It's going to be a busy one. Let's get right to it. Well, hello everyone. This is the middle segment, and with all middle segments, if we bring to you something from the internet, we provide you that link to that thing we bring to you in the description of the status chat over on the YouTube page in which that thing appeared. So I want to kind of top off some things we've talked about in the past. One of the things that we seem to be hearing a lot from people are, we're kind of waiting to buy because we think there's a housing bubble that's going to burst, and then we're not wishing for anyone to have a bad time, but for us it feels like it's almost impossible to pick up a home that we like and we want in the area that we want it under these conditions with the prices skyrocketing. So we sort of think that these rates can't continue. They're going to burst and we're going to kind of have a reset. Well, as we've talked about before, the bubble bursting in 2008 and the recovery through about 2010, about 2 years, the conditions that led up to that can't happen again. Now, we adjusted to that by the Dodd-Frank agreement after that because there were some really strange things that they were allowing people to do mortgage-wise that we can't do today. So those conditions are not going to reappear. Now, what we're having right now is mainly a supply and demand issue where demand is very high and supply is very low. So here is what people are kind of telling me about. They're saying, okay, well, the prices have just gone so high so fast, surely they can't sustain at that level. And the reality is they probably won't for a while, not in our area. We are a draw for a lot of other states. So they're coming here. This is part of the reason why we're seeing such tremendous growth. But the other areas that they're coming from may end up slacking up a little bit. Now we see about a 4.5% is about typical for a given year in a housing market for our house to gain value. And that's what we got going on there with 4.2. That's pretty healthy. This is a little unusual. That's even more unusual still. And again, this is the median home prices, Greater Nashville area, statistical area, year over year, January to January. And that's how the prices went. This is in all the area, not just Rutherford County or whatever, where we might be looking. But it used to be 293 was the most commonly occurring number, and now it's up to 425, and that is in all of Nashville, which has 9 counties, all the Nashville area, which includes 9 counties in the statistical area, I believe it is. And we want to look back at, now here are the stories I want to look at, because that's the thing we're kind of going for. Prices are going up. Can they possibly continue to go up? We have very low inventory, so we have high demand. That's forcing the prices up. Inflation is going to force prices up, but a counter to that healthy environment of low inventory, high demand will mean high prices. About the only thing that we're going to see that's going to kind of really drop the prices down or start leveling them off. Maybe we're still positive, but we're not as sharp of a curve as we were, not as close to vertical as we've been going. I would expect to see some pricing leveling off. I don't expect to see pricing in the Middle Tennessee, the metropolitan area, the counties that surround Nashville. I would not expect to see them take a nosedive. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're going to go down. I think they may slow the rate of going positive, but I don't think they're going to go down. So right here in this screen, I have Market Watch. I'll give you the link. Again, it'll be in there. And let's slide on down. It says right here, 5 economists and real estate pros share what will happen to mortgage rates in 2022. Now, that's just a guess, and that's the whole point. When people go out and they try to do this research on their own, they're not really aware about what they're looking for or what they're looking at, and they're just picking up other people's opinions who might be a little bit better than theirs. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. It may be what they do. I would like to think my opinion is valuable. This is, yesterday? Right, at March 3rd, so today is March 4th, Friday the March 4th, and what we're coming down here, they talk about real quickly in this paragraph, they just say, we expect mortgage rates to rise, but how much, and we don't expect them to be a straight up. There should be some teetering and some bouncing back and forth just like they always do. What are the rates going to be by these forecasters? Well, this paragraph, mortgage rates could end up at 4.5%. Some pros forecast based on recent forecasts projected by Fannie Mae. That's one of your GSEs right there, government-sponsored enterprises. The National Association of Realtors, the Mortgage Brokers Association, and 30-year mortgage rates will likely tick upwards through the course of 2022. And I have to give it one of these sarcastic "do you think?" I mean, we have the Fed chairman saying he's going to have 7 easings of buying of the bonds, I think 7 times, and that will affect our rates in the long run. So we know they're going to go up. How much and how fast, we don't know. That's the big unknown. Honestly, that's the big unknown. So we just want to see what some people believe. Mortgage rates could end up at 4.5%. According to those people. Let's slide on past all this, and they're going to repeat that. Again, here's a number, 4.5%. Says we're adding another voice at 4.5% here to Holden Lewis, home and mortgage expert at NerdWallet. Greg McBride, chief of financial analysis for Bankrate, says he could see inflation if it continues to accelerate. The Fed remains behind the inflation curve, rates hitting 4.5%. Here's another. How many we got? Like 5 people now saying 4.5%. Okay. That said, if the Fed is aggressive in raising short-term rates to rein in inflation, this would be good for mortgage rates, says McBride. Well, it just depends on what they're going to do. Now we slide on down here. We get Fannie Mae now says in this paragraph that they expect close to 3.7%. Lawrence Yoon, this fella, he works for the NAR, National Association of Realtors. He's also saying, it could be 3.7%. And we go anywhere between that 3.7 to 4.5, and here down here we get somebody throwing the 4 in at it. So what does that really mean to you if you are looking at maybe doing a mortgage? You know you want to buy a house. You're like a lot of people, if you're trying to buy, you're in a crunch competing against multiple offers most of the time. And you're having a hard time getting that done and all the regular finance. So as we run those rates up, does it make sense for you to just throw your hands up and say, I quit. I can't handle anymore. I'm just burnt out. I'm tired. I'm tired of running. I'm just going to pull over to the side, drink my water, and sit down over here and watch the rest of the people run past me. Is that your plan? Maybe it makes sense for you. But if we go back to what we're looking at, how can we quantify that? Well, here we have another handy website, and it just happens to be mine at calldelltosell.com. Here we are. That's that handsome devil there. Well, I want to look at some information. Let's look at this live data tab. And how we find that is right up here. It says live data. And I'm going to come down to Rutherford County South. And let's see what the numbers will look like in our area. Let's just see, because we're going to look at some numbers. Well, if we see our days on market, get out of the way. If we see our days on market, this is pretty stable. All right. Our new listings, they look pretty stable. And this is from 19 to 22, 3 years. And we look at median percent of last list price, that's going up. And we see pretty well much the month supply is showing short at this point in time. We had a little bit more inventory back around about the summer of 2020. And the rest of them are fairly doing the same thing. Price per square foot is shooting up. And let's get up here at this top right here, median sales price. So what it says here, if we were looking like, say, in the Las Casas or Rockville areas, that's a higher price. The median price is higher, trending higher on the south, more rural side. If we were to go up, now remember that's around 400,000, 410. Let's go up to and change our county to the north of Rutherford County. I think that's here. I've got my screen scrunched down just a little bit. Yeah, Smyrna, Laverne, Rutherford County North. Now let's see where their median sales price are. Around 300, even dropped down to 286 in Laverne. So where you want to live, when we talk anything in real estate, all markets are local. So just really be careful when you hear somebody tell you, and they're out of California or some other place making predictions and tell you that maybe the bubble's going to burst or we're going to drop down or whatever. You have to look at this stuff with a grain of salt. Let's go back where we were. So here we are. Let's say around 400 is your price range for a nice home in the country. Well, let's go back up to this other tab. Still my website, Benchmark Realty, calldelltosell.com. Go ahead, leave Dell a message. He loves to hear from you. So let's slide on past all these. By the way, if I haven't shown you, you can pick up a copy of my business card. Just put your camera right up to it and take a picture, or you can get my Real Scout link. Any of these things, if your phone will do that QR analysis. But let's get down here. Oh, by the way, this is a good one we want to look at some point. Watch this video. It shows you how to use my tool, this Real Scout, how to compare up to three properties side by side, room by room. You can pull kitchen pictures up if you want to. Let's go down, down, down. All right, so here we have set up a home. All right, I've set this up for illustrative purposes at $172,000 for a couple, for a group of people, a person and their significant. Say their annual income is $172,000. They have, say, a little less than $3,000 in monthly debts. It's probably a couple of cars, or maybe a nice truck and one used car, or vice versa. And they're going to put 20,000 down on the payment on it, and we're just looking at a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Let's say this number at 3.5. Let's go see where we got our 3.5%. Slide this down. Okay, see some of these numbers right here: 30-year, 3.25, 3.4, 3.4. So I'm just saying, based upon today, March the 3rd, looking at these advertised numbers, let's just throw a wild number in here and call this a 30-year, $172,000 income, about $3,000 a monthly debt, 3.5% interest. What is this payment going to get you, and what price? Well, that'll get you that $411. Isn't that pretty darn close to what we were looking at right here in Rockville, right there in Rockville, as of February, the end of February 2022? That's pretty well much what you need to have if your numbers look like that. So what happens if you just choose to throw your hands up waiting? Well, I don't know everything, and I promise to tell you that I foresee a likelihood that prices will, instead of going up so steep, they'll kind of level off and not go up as fast. But I still expect them to go up, because we are still a net importer of persons into our state, because we have one of the best run states in the nation. We have a balanced budget requirement. We run a surplus and no income tax, and people are loving coming to Tennessee. They just need to leave their dirty shoes at the door when they come in, not to take their bad habits with them. So that's kind of what we're looking for. I don't expect the prices to suddenly tank. I could be wrong. Now let's get back to our picture. So 411, that's now. Expect that your prices are going to slowly continue to trend up. Maybe they flatten, not as tight as a growth as we saw over here on this panel here. We saw 23% increase. Well, my gosh, just if you're looking to buy, dropping the price to 12% increase would be probably a nice thing if you're having trouble getting that first home purchased in there. So let's go back to where we were. Here at our number, 411, Rockville. We looked at it, you looked at it, I saw that. What happens if we take this and we take that 3.5 and take it to 4.5%? Now suddenly we're down to $373,000 without your payment going up. So here we're looking at this part diverging from the price. If we go back to this trend right here, we see that the basic trend is going up from 2021. We go back to this, we see our buying power is going down. We start to have to get it back up to that 411 or so. Let's get it up to 423. Maybe that's where it is by the end of 2022. Well, that's going to put you almost at a $2,700 mortgage to get that. And for that income, for that data, we're getting a yellow color for it. So it's kind of indicating that we might be on the verge of losing some ground. So does it really make sense for you to want to wait, hoping that someone else has to have something bad happen and the market turns down? The mortgage rates are going to increase. We have a pretty good indication that's going to happen. The question is, where will you be buying wise if you just say, I am frustrated, I am tired, I just want to take a break. Maybe the price is going to flop on us. I don't think we're going to see it here in our area. We're just too strong. Our economy is too good. Our state is too pretty. The people are too nice. And the real estate professionals are among the best you can find. Anyway, let's get you back to the rest of the show. I've probably gone on long enough. Hello, I'm Dell Delbridge of Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel. Call Dell to sell. That's 1 L in Dell, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's look at the last week's numbers. 22, 25, 22. We had 7, 5, 8, 9 in the opportunities in Real Scout system. That was down over the previous period. We had 4, 2, 5, 3 in the under contract still showing. That was up slightly over the previous period. And the integer ratio between there jumped 2 percentage points to 56%. This week, 3, 4, 22, we have 74, 99 in the opportunities, which is down over the previous period. They're continuing to trend down. We had 40, 88 in the under contract still showing. That is down over the previous period, and the integer ratio between those two numbers dropped by 1 percentage point to 55%. So I hope that long segment in the middle helped. No one knows exactly what's going to happen. You're not crazy for considering another burst of bubble, but I don't think that's really applicable here in Middle Tennessee. But we do have other challenges, and those challenges can be beneficial. They can be detrimental depending on your position and condition. You just need to keep working at it, and you know what you need to do. You need to call Dell to buy, call Dell to sell. I hope you have a good weekend. Take care.